family salaryman, but he gets transported into another world with unlimited magical powers. Liam was an average salaryman in a dead-end job who ends up dozing off at work, but when he wakes up, he finds himself in a totally different world with nobles and high-class people having a drink while a maid tries to wake him up. He is utterly confused at this and wonders whether this is all a dream, but the maid keeps telling him that he should greet the guests for the party. Even more confused now, Liam spots a mirror, and when he looks in it, he is shocked to see the reflection of a young boy staring back at him instead of a tired old corporate slave. Suddenly, his dad walks towards him, telling him to stop acting like a weirdo because they have guests over right now. Liam is totally surprised by that, but slowly realizes that he has been transported to a different world where he is the fifth son of a noble family. The party going on right now is for the birth of his sister, since all four of his older siblings are boys. He decides to sleep it off, hoping that he would wake back into the real world. But that doesn't happen as he wakes up still in the child's body. He decides to go out into the balcony where the maid tells him that all the land in front of him belongs to his family. Liam can't believe his eyes as he wonders how rich they actually are, and later he meets up with his older siblings. Bruno, the fourth son of the family, explains that their father and oldest brother are currently trying to serve the nation in some way according to the laws of this country. Every noble family needs to do something which serves the nation, otherwise they will lose their status. Unfortunately, their dumbass father hasn't done anything of importance, yet even though he is in the third generation, which means that if they don't do anything, they will be stripped of their noble status and become commoners. Bruno also tells him that their oldest brother Alb tried becoming a storytime TikToker, but the Sigma King called him a beta bitch, which makes their job to impress the king even harder. Before they can talk more though, and their magic teacher enters the room with a book in his hands. Liam gets insanely excited at the thought of learning magic, but Bruno tells him to calm down since only a very few people manage to perform magic. Liam doesn't give a shit about his pimp of a brother, however, and immediately rushes outside and asks the maid to show him to the library. Inside the library, he finds a bunch of books on magic, so he randomly picks one out. He starts reading the book and tries out a basic fire spell, which to his own surprise, he succeeds in. He manages to make his hand into a stupid candle while the maid congratulates him on his first spell. He immediately goes to meet his father in his study and asks whether he can take out the books from the library. But Liam's father doesn't care about his dumbass fifth child and tells him to do whatever he wants. Liam cusses him out in his mind and leaves with all the books needed. He starts practicing magic every single day in his own room and slowly starts getting better. He starts learning more complex magic, and after a month, he reaches a point where he is able to perform flame magic without even looking at the magic books. Bruno the pimp is really impressed by this, since even the people who manage to learn magic take at least a year to cast the simplest spells without the magic book. He takes the magic book and tries to cast magic on his own, but his pathetic ass can't even cast the simplest of magic even with the books. Bruno hands Liam the book, claiming that he can do great stuff with magic and advance in the society, which Liam doesn't really care about, and heads back to the library to get the ice spell book. While on his way to his room, he ends up getting stopped by his father, who demands to know whether he has learned how to use magic. Liam gets a little nervous and prematurely ejaculates a little bit of ice magic on the book. Liam's father doesn't seem impressed by this and asks whether that's all he could do, but Liam decides to show his brain-rotted father the true limits of his skill, and casts the flame cutter spell without the book, which shocks and impresses his father. He immediately becomes happy and tells Liam to get as many magic books as he wants before leaving. Liam seems happy to know that his father liked him, but on the way into the forest he ends up stumbling upon a man in a white jacket, who asks whether he is from the noble Hamilton family. Liam tells him that he is the fifth son when the man asks whether he is here to capture him. Liam doesn't have any idea what this weird-ass man is talking about, but he doesn't want to get baby oiled by Diddy, so he tries to leave. The man, however, ends up stopping him as he claimed that he can show him a more efficient way to do magic. Liam immediately gets interested, and the man suddenly uses all 5 different elemental magic at once. Liam is shocked to the core by this, and just as impressed as he begs the man to teach him. The man agrees and tells Liam to draw a circle and a square at the same time to make sure he is not dyslexic. After that test, he tells Liam the trick to perform such magic, and to his surprise, Liam manages to use both the flame ball and the flame cutter magic at once. The mysterious man is shocked as this technique can only be performed by 1 in a million people, and he just wanted to flex his skill on a kid. Liam then tries to use 3 different magic spells at once, and even though he manages to succeed, his stamina is too low and his magic powers run out. The man tells him not to worry about it as he will slowly get better, and shows that his current limit is to use 13 spells at once, but he is trying to cast 16 spells at once. Liam is impressed by this, so the man decides to hand him a Samsung Galaxy ring which contains a shit ton of magic books. Liam gets excited by this and tries a wind magic spell which works flawlessly, but when he turns around to thank the man, he mysteriously disappears just like my dad. Suddenly, the maid comes towards Liam, asking whether he is fine, since they have heard that a mysterious man was spotted on their property. Liam lies that he was alone, so the maid hands him a new magic book and tells him to be careful before leaving. Liam wonders what was that about when suddenly the man reappears claiming that he simply made himself invisible. He then looks at the book and tells Liam to try and cast a spell while wearing the galaxy ring. Liam follows the orders and summons a flaming salamander, which immediately gets sucked in by the ring like a pokeball. Liam realizes that he can save any spell he wants in this ring, so he starts summoning as many Pokémons as possible before saving them in his ring. He turns around to thank the man, but he disappears once again with a note telling him to keep his mouth shut. A month passes by after that incident and Liam starts getting better at controlling his magic, as he creates charcoal with the help of his spirits and also some mana crystals. Bruno ends up spotting him in the forest and checks the things that he made and claims that these skills will make him an independent person. After that, this incel happily claims that he is getting married to a low-ranking noble family. But even though they are poorer, Bruno will still have more independence and will also pop his cherry finally. Liam is happy to hear that, but Bruno tells him that he should also start looking for ways to get independence. He explains that before Liam was born, his father really wanted a daughter to marry into the royal family, but his plans failed as Liam was born a boy. Out of desperation, his father collected 1,000 soldiers and launched an attack on the Dragon of the Hills, but even though he managed to seal the monster, he ended up losing 90% of his soldiers. Bruno claims that even though Alb and their father are trying everything desperately, he personally thinks that the Hamilton family is over and Liam should secure his own future. Liam thanks him for the advice and leaves into the city to sell his stuff off and get some money. After getting a fair deal, he gets some lunch at a local noodle shop when he suddenly gets an idea and rushes back to his own home. He enters the kitchen and hands his servants a pack of instant ramen and tells them to try it. The servants are impressed by this new creation, while this capitalistic pig starts thinking about how he can turn this world into America with 50% obesity. He immediately rushes off to sell the instant ramen in the local shops, but they refuse to buy his product since his oldest brother Alb has put a restriction on him from selling his stuff. Liam leaves sadly, while Alb walks out from behind the counter, cursing Liam for being so good at magic. Liam, on the other hand, wonders what he could do now and decides to try something out. He has recently learned a storage box spell which can store a ton of stuff inside and can also teleport it somewhere else. Liam decides to use his magic unconventionally and creates a clone of himself which he sends off to a different kingdom not controlled by the Hamilton family. The clone ends up selling everything and puts all the money back in the storage box, which Liam can easily take out at will. In this way, Liam, the capitalist pig, invented slavery in this new world as well. A couple days pass by as Liam keeps practicing with his own illusions and gets even stronger than before. Suddenly one day Alb approaches him and claims that he has been hearing a lot of good things about him and asks what he wants to be when he grows up. Liam immediately gets alert since he knows that Alb thinks Liam is trying to become the next family head instead of him, so he simply says that he wants to find a job and earn money. This answer seems to satisfy Alb as he tells Liam that he will introduce him to the Hunters Guild. Liam is really happy about it since he will become an adventurer, this way whose job will be to hunt down monsters. The very next day he visits the Hunters Guild, and where all the adventurers start mocking him for being a short king. But Liam keeps his head up high and his middle finger higher as he walks up to the guildmaster. The man tells him that even if he is a noble, he can only take the jobs befitting his rank and asks Liam to show him how strong he is by attacking him. The guildmaster clearly underestimates Liam, so Liam decides to go easy on him and shoots some low-level fireballs around him. This shocks every single person in the guild, including the guild master, who claims that with his skills, Liam easily deserves to be a B-ranked adventurer. Soon he leaves the guild with a shiny new badge as he wonders how strong B-ranked adventurers actually are. While walking though, he ends up being stopped by a gold-digging ethot named Osna, who asks whether he is truly a son of the Hamilton family, and whether she can join his party. At the end of the day, Liam is still a guy and jugs are jugs, so he agrees like a total simp and heads off into the forest for their first mission. The moment they enter the deep forest though, they immediately come face to face with a giant wolf beast. The furry hoe immediately jumps into action and takes out her knives, when to her surprise, a bunch of other wolves also appear from the bushes, completely surrounding them. Asuna gets worried, but Liam tells her to calm down and busts out his magic Pokémons that the wolves immediately grab between their jaws. Suddenly, though, the Pokémon starts swelling up like my wife after marriage, completely incapacitating the poor wolves, after which Asuna makes short work of the beasts. They haul back a huge load of 42 dead wolves, completely shocking everyone including the guildmaster, who immediately hires them for a job. Both Asuna and Liam soon leave for the task at hand, which is to defeat a caterpillar monster, which has been blocking a major route of trade. Asuna is pretty happy, but also scared since monsters are much different than normal beasts since they have a magic stone inside of them which gives them immense power and special abilities. Liam, however, is still optimistic, but his optimism changes when he finally finds the caterpillar whose body is basically made out of metal, making all of their attacks completely worthless. Neither physical nor magical attacks